Welcome back to Keep Heading East. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at Greek food and in particular olive oil and its uses. I'm Murray from the YC Cookery School, and if you're joining us again, then welcome back. If you've joined us for the first time, you've joined us in Greece, which is our sixth stop on our tour of global feasting. You can check out the main introduction to this series by clicking on the on-screen link, and in the description below there's a link to our free PDF cookbook with all of the dishes that we'll be cooking in this series, or if you prefer, a printed one is available as well. Now, Greece is a country located in southeast Europe. Situated on the southern tip of the Balkans, Greece is essentially the crossroads of Europe, Asia and Africa, sharing land borders with Albania to the northwest, North Macedonia and Bulgaria to the north, and Turkey to the northeast. The Aegean Sea lies to the east of the mainland, the Ionian Sea to the west, the Creation Sea and the Mediterranean Sea to the south. With so many islands, Greece has the longest coastline in the Mediterranean basin. 227 of these islands are inhabited. Now, Greek cuisine is typical of the healthy Mediterranean diet. But while it's epitomized by the dishes of Crete, the cuisine differs wildly between different parts of the mainland and also from island to island. Some ingredients are used more often than in other Mediterranean cuisines. For example, feta, phyllo, honey, nuts, garlic and onion. Other common herbs and spices like dill, oregano, mint, basil, thyme, fennel seeds and bay leaves. And many recipes, especially in the northern parts of the country, use sweet spices in combination with meat. For example, cinnamon and cloves in stews. There's a huge variety of local dishes such as moussaka, the iconic Greek salad, spanakopita, the little spinach parcels, and souvlaki, and other things like lentil soups. Retsina, the white or rosé wine sealed with pine resin, and the little candy bars made from sesame seeds baked in honey, these sorts of things. Now, throughout Greece, people enjoy eating from lots of different small dishes known as meze, with dips like tzatziki or plates like grilled octopus and small fish, feta cheese, dolmades, which are small parcels of rice and currants and pine nuts wrapped in vine leaves, various vegetables, olives and cheese. So it's all quite healthy. Olive oil is added to almost every dish, but I'll come back to that in a moment. This week I want to share a couple of videos that demonstrate some of the classic meze dishes from Greece. The first clip is by a Greek chef from Thessaloniki. His channel has a lot of great Greek recipes which are really quite accurate and give some really good inspiration for Greek food. I've left a link for his Dolmades video in the end cards, so check that out. The second video is a quick clip showing 5 different variations for baking feta. Now this is a really easy addition to a meze platter, but it's a real crowd pleaser. So if you're in the mood for some Greek food this weekend, you can also have a go at our own Greek entries into the Keep Heading East cookbook this week. The first of our recipes is for Lamb Kofta with Tzatziki, and the second is a courgette and feta phyllo pie. Now, coming back to the olive oil, while the top 5 producers of olive oil by volume are Spain, Morocco, Turkey, Greece and Italy, per capita it's the Greeks that consume more olive oil than any other nation, followed by the Spanish and then thirdly Italy. Now, there's a lot of myths and theories and confusion about the use of olive oil in the kitchen and its health benefits. The idea that simply buying the most expensive virgin olive oil to cook everything with and it's going to make the best food and is better for one's health just simply isn't true. There's a time and a place for using all grades and types of oils, and simply spending more money on olive oil doesn't mean you'll always have the result that you're expecting. So let's break the terminology and the jargon down a little bit. The term virgin olive oil refers to the first pressing of the oil, which will be the most dense and intense. So the term extra virgin olive oil, or extra virgin olive oil, depending on the marketing, is the first part of the first pressing, and generally accepted as the best quality part of the oil in its natural state. Usually the first pressing is cold pressed, and this preserves the chemical structure and the delicate flavors from the fruit. In the following pressings, the product might be heated or filtered or undergo some other process to extract more oil from the fruit. These lesser quality oils are known as refined oils. They're milder in flavour, they're much less dense, but they still play a huge role in the kitchen. In Italy, this grade of olive oil would be known as pomace oil. All oils have what's known as a smoke point, and that's the temperature where the particles in the oil start to burn. It spoils the food that you're cooking with bitter flavours and burnt particles. Generally, the more refined the oil is, the less flavour it will have, and the higher the smoke point will be, so you can get it hotter before it spoils the food. The flash point is hotter again, and it's the point where the oil actually catches fire. But for now, let's just consider the smoke point. So looking at our chart here of common oils, you'll notice that the oils or fats with the lowest smoke point are generally unrefined oils. Most of these unrefined oils burn at a point below 180 or 190 degrees centigrade. Now, over and above 190 degrees, most oils tend to be refined oils. The one exception is the standard virgin olive oil, which at the maximum has a smoke point of 210. And while a lot of these oils have smoke points around the sort of 220s, 230s, working their way up to sort of 238 for corn oil. Clarified butter, surprisingly at 250 degrees before it burns. And right up at the top, sunflower oil. Refined sunflower oil at 254 degrees. And that's actually the oil that I use quite a lot for frying and things like that. Now, if you consider a few different methods of cookery and the temperatures that they operate at, confying a product like confit of duck that you confit in duck fat is around 120 or 140 degrees. Roasting vegetables, roasting meat anywhere between 180 and 200. Shallow frying and sauteing 190 to 220 and plus, sometimes 230 or 240. And deep frying 170 through to a maximum of 210, the absolute most. So you can see that the majority of the unrefined or extra virgin oils, when used in a lot of cooking scenarios in the kitchen, come dangerously close to burning during the process and spoiling the food. So as a general rule, I think it's better to stick with the lesser grade, milder oils and the more refined oils for roasting and frying, and save the more expensive extra virgin olive oils and cold pressed oils for eating raw. There's no point in heating a cold pressed oil. It's been cold pressed to preserve the delicate flavours and to make it nice to eat raw. Use them for dressings and things like that, or as often the case with olive oil, drizzle it on the dish at the end of the cooking process before it's served, like grilled vegetables and pasta and things like that. Extra virgin olive oil can also be a little bit strong and bitter. I usually use about 1/3 virgin olive oil to 2/3 of more refined oil like sunflower or rapeseed oil for mayonnaise and dressings. It's also pretty uncommon to deep fry with virgin olive oil because of the strong flavour, but also the cost. I mean, it costs a lot to fill a 15-litre deep fryer with olive oil to get an inferior product in the end. Now, just like with wine, olive oil varies hugely in flavour and price. A lot of the time it comes down to the climate, but also your personal taste. Oils from a cooler climate like Tuscany tend to produce heavier, more grassy and bitter flavour olive oils, while olive oil from a warmer climate such as Spanish or Greek olive oil tends to be a lot less bitter and more sort of golden and toasted. But unlike some wines, olive oil won't get better with age. Okay, think of it as a fruit juice. It's much better as fresh as possible. If you can get your hands on really fresh olive oil, you'll really notice that it has a much more fragrant flavour. After 6 months to a year, a lot of these subtle flavours are lost, okay, and the oil denatures. So keep an eye on the production and the sell-by dates when you buy a bottle of oil, because in some cases the mainstream brands will often sell oil that's a few years old. Exposure to light helps the oil denature and becomes really rancid a bit faster than it usually would, which is why they're usually stored in tins or in dark green or brown bottles. Purchasing small quantities at a time of the oil you like the taste of and storing your oil in the cupboard and using it quickly is the best way to make the most of olive oil. Your worst case scenario would be to buy a large bottle of olive oil, the most expensive one you could find, assuming it will be the best, and giving it pride of place in your kitchen shelf in the sun, and then saving it up for use at Christmas. Or pouring it into a smoking hot frying pan and then coating your piece of chicken with it. So that's it for this stop on our Keep Heading East tour of global cuisine. I hope you've enjoyed it. Links are on screen now for the videos I mentioned earlier if you'd like to see a little more from the region. And remember, for our subscribers, there's a fantastic cookbook to accompany this series. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe and grab yourself a free PDF copy of our cookbook, or if you prefer a hard copy, the links are there as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon.